Okay, so welcome to the second quarter, and this is going to be our first lesson for our visual lessons for the second quarter. We're going to discuss proof by deductive reasoning, and of course, logical reasoning and congruent statements. Since we're going to go over a lot of congruent statements, and we're going to try to prove different theorems using two-column proofs and paragraph proofs, let's try by first laying the foundations on how to create two-column proofs, paragraph proofs, and most especially formal statements and logical statements. I know you guys already have a background, a very wide background on logic, especially in your elementary years, and it has improved on grade 7. But let's try to test those logical skills. Okay, so deductive reasoning is proof. Deductive reasoning enables us to derive true or acceptably true conclusions from statements which are true or accepted as true. It consists of 3 steps as follows. Making a general statement referring to a whole set or class of things, such as a class of dogs. All dogs are quadrupeds or have 4 feet. Okay, so that's one general statement that we can deduce. Uh, that's one statement that we can deduce based from our general statement for a class of dogs. Making a particular statement about one or some of the members of the set or class referred to in the general statement. All greyhounds are dogs. So that's one valid conclusion. Making a deduction that follows logically when the general statement is applied to the particular statement. All greyhounds are quadrupeds. So we have this property, so we call that the transitive. Okay, so that's a transitive property of logic. Okay, transitive property of equality, and so it also applies in logic. So it says here that all dogs are quadrupeds, and we also said that all greyhounds all greyhounds are dogs. Now, it follows logically, we can conclude that all greyhounds all greyhounds are quadrupeds, or all greyhounds have 4 feet, based from the 2 assumptions or presumptions that we have, or the 2 predicate statements that we have. Okay, so for this one, it kind of like says that if A implies B, and B implies C, it could follow that A implies C for this statement. Okay, deductive reasoning is also called syllogistic reasoning. So we call these type of techniques when we are trying to create logical statements as syllogistic reasoning, because the 3 statements together constitute a syllogism. In a syllogism, the general statement is called the major premise. Okay, so these are the major premise. This is the major premise. The particular statement is the minor premise. So this is our major premise. Major premise. Then we have the minor premise. And for this problem, and the deduction here, this is our conclusion. So always remember this, dear grade 8 students. We have the major premise, the minor, and then the conclusion. Thus, in the syllogism above, we have here the major premise, the minor premise, and the conclusion. So using a circle to create a Venn diagram on how that would be modeled inside of a diagram. So figure 2.1 represents each set or class that will help you understand relationships involved in deductive reasoning. Again, deductive reasoning comes from the word deduct. Okay, so that means it's a type of reasoning that comes from a general statement. There's a general statement and then funnels down. You're gonna funnel it out to more specific statements out of the general statement. So this is the most common type of reasoning that we use, especially in mathematics, as you solve word problems as well in your grade 6 and grade 7 math subjects. Since the major premise or general statement states that all dogs are quadrupeds, the circle representing the dogs must be inside that for quadrupeds. Okay, so therefore the quadrupeds biggest circle. It's the most general statement, followed by the dogs, since it's part of the minor premise, and the greyhounds, so that's the conclusion. So that's the smallest subset of the supersets that we have. So there you go. It represents the greyhounds represent the smallest circle. Since the minor premise or the particular statement states that all greyhounds are dogs, the circle representing the greyhounds must be inside for dogs, or should be the smallest one. So I hope you got a clear understanding on how deductive reasoning works, and we're going to try more exercises on these problems on our next video. Stay tuned.